What's up, everybody? This is Earzy99, and today we're going to cover a little Tech 2 building. I've already taken the liberty of compiling Tech 2 parts I'm going to need for this job. So we're going to make some stealth bombers. Now you may ask, Urs, how the hell did you get Material Efficiency 8 BPCs? Well, these are not from a Tech 2 BPO, so don't come war deck me thinking you're going to get a Tech 2 BPO. These are holdouts from the Invention system. With the Cryos expansion, they changed the mechanics for the industry interface and Invention and ME and PE, so it used to be you would start out with a -4 blueprint for material efficiency. And they figured out in the new system if they tried to have negative material efficiency that they would basically break crap. Kind of like overheating a blockade runner in a C5 Red Giant. You could actually overheat, and then with the bonuses to overheating from the transports and being in a Red Giant, you could actually boost your resistances over 100%, which meant your effective HP actually went to basically 0. You could be one shot by anything. It's been proven. It was a fun bit of things, but I don't know if they ever got around to fixing it because, well, it's a C5 Red Giant, and it's kind of a niche thing, but I don't know if that bug still persists or not. But what they did do is boost all of the blueprints that people had invented under the old system but hadn't turned into ships or modules. So I still have a great many of these 8 material efficiency blueprint copies. And needless to say, I'm selling them now and making them to make money. So, of course, we're going to highlight our proper bay. As you can see, I've already taken the liberty of assembling all of these subcomponents using my subcomponent BPOs. I've also secured all the construction blocks in Morphite I'll need, and built the rams and the ships. If you have a Android phone, there's an app called the Eve Industry Calculator. It's a very good little app. I recommend it if you're going to get involved in industry, as you can tell it to use JITA price points. So it's a handy tool to have to run as a companion. You just plug in your skills and shake and do it. And it'll tell you the profit margins. For example, it told me I would actually lose money if I made these armor plates, so I bought them because someone's messing with the titanium carbide market. So I actually got to buy some and save some money. And that works for me. We have all our parts. As you can see here, you can highlight. Should be able to highlight here and tell you the estimate. Apparently it's not going to. See? It doesn't want to do it for this. Well, I guess it just can't handle that many components at once. The rams were another item that changed. They now build in lots of 100 when you make them. So they're not they're not too expensive. Of course, the Tech 1 version of the ship, not a big deal. The Morphite, unless you live in null security, you have to get that off the market. And even mining Marcoxic to refine into Morphite is usually a pretty good pain. All of these materials are all made with component BPCs, which I showed on my last episode. They're seeded by MPCs. They only cost about $5 million a piece. They're a good little buy if you're going to build Tech 2 anything. They're worth buying. So we have our materials, our destination. Make sure you set your destination somewhere. You can't, it defaults to the can because that's where the blueprint's housed. But if you mess up and try and put it in a can, it won't deliver the job. They'll be like, hey, you need 20,000 something cubic meters to deliver this job, and there's only like 90 cubic meters free. If you make that mistake, and I've made it, you have to disassemble the can that your blueprint was in and try to deliver the job. It'll just put it in the hangar floor. Then you have to reassemble the can and put all your BPOs or BPCs back in there. So best not to do that. And then of course you can see I've got a 12.15% index, and of course the star, I'm using the Corpus Master wallet because hey, I've got an alt corp, and that's what alt corps are for. Centralized pools for assets and money. Lots and lots of money. We'll go in and get these in the cooker, and in about, I'm recording this on a Thursday night, so Sunday night these will be ready for me to take out. Of course, I'm researching all my rigs that I bought, building the Manticores, also building a few Ishtars. Then of course my ships, my bigger ships, researching those. Of course my token battle cruiser BPO that has been in ME10 research forever. And as you can see, I've also got originals for the mining barges. So here in about 2.5, 3 months, I'll be able to start building mining barges. Make a little bit of cash that way. Now, if you're going to build an industry, one of the big things to keep in mind is where you have to choose where you're going to build your base of operations. Now, this region, of course, this is all the facilities in the Forge region. As you can see, there's some low sec in here, but mostly high sec. And as you can see, these areas don't all have the same service. For example, this lab station doesn't have a manufacturing plant. You can right-click a location. You can see what they have. They have a clone bay, of course, fitting. They have an industry service because they have the material efficiency, time efficiency, copying, and invention services. A repair shop and a refinery. A quick way to to research is to go to shows you how much I use the in-game browser. I don't even have the proper bookmark. Oh, that's why. Outland.net. And I had bookmarks for. Duh. Okay. Now you can look in .land, and you can see at a glance the you can see the region here as a whole. Bigger. Okay, now this is the Forge region. And we'll make the security status a little more visible here. Now we have that wretched hive of scum and villainy, Judah. And then we have, you can see there's icons. By the station here. They're shown here. You can see green shows offices, blue is research, yellow is the factory, red is the refinery. So if, for example, if you're a miner, you might want a refinery in your system, especially one that you have good standings to, so that you don't have to pay the tax. For me personally, my standings are down in the Marspace. I have a standings of like 7 with the Court Chamberlain stations, all 2 of them. So I can refine there in high security with no taxation. Of course, I'm also the XO at a Nullsec corporation, so I can just use our level 3 refining station if I ever need to refine something. And there are max skilled guys who are willing to do it for me. So yeah. I think our yield out in null security is like 86%. Tops out like 86 to 88%. Now I'm up here in Masticomon. You can see I've got all the bases covered in the station I'm in. If I wanted to go next door, I could go into LowSec. I could pay lower rates. As you can see, the cost index is much lower than it is here in Masticomon. But I like having, I've got 16 jumps contiguous high sec to Judah. If I want to fly through LowSec, I can cut that down to 10. If I was flying a TravelFit Interceptor, I'd probably do that. But if I'm flying like a DST or a freighter, I'll stick to high sec. Then of course, because I live in the neighboring null security region in Vale of Silent, I can jump out from this station to, with a jump freighter, I can jump to one of our stations in Valis Island if I ever need to move things back and forth between null security. I just have to jump into neighboring lowsec to jump in because I can't obviously line a sign-up field in high security. So I've got good access to supply lines. If you're smaller and just starting out, you want to find a quiet system fairly close to a trade hub. So of course, now JITA has, or rather does not have, the research services. And the stations that do, that are fairly close to JITA, are going to cost a fortune. Now, systems like Erlin and Kasogo, those are school stations, so local's going to be clogged with new bros. I don't have anything against new bros, but I like to know who's around. I like having local. So you just want to look for stations with research services. You can see here her token, Moon 7, or Planet 7, Moon 3, research. It also has an ice belt and 3 50% refineries. Not bad. Be a nice little system to mine in. Of course, in high sec, ice belts are aggressively mined, and they are a finite resource. That was another change in the Odyssey expansion. Ice belts are no longer functionally infinite. They do go away after a time. Now if we want to filter out all these deadweight stations, you can see here we just filter into a research. We can sort by facility. Here we go, her token. Very high indexes, as you can see here. 6, 7, 6, 6, 4. Pretty heavy duty costs, especially compared to out here in Masta. But further you go from a trade hub, or the more out of the way you get, typically the better your results are going to be. Now for our folks who may live in Caliente space, the local the trade hub in Caliente space is in the Sync Liaison region, Do-Dixie. You can see here, Do-Dixie. That's your primary trade region, trade hub for the Caliente area. There's also a minor trade hub, I believe, in Orsalur. That's also in Caliente space. Now, one of the places I was hiding out when my corporation lived in Fountain was this lovely little setup right here in Hengist. You'll notice there are 6, 7 stations for research in this system. Now, I lived there prior to the Cryos expansion, and I was able to find some cloning, or so not just cloning facilities, but also offices and slots available. But many of these corporations, and there's even a school system here, so you can get skill books for your characters. There's the school station. I stayed in the Impro. This, I believe it was this, yeah, it was Moon 515 Impro Factory. I stayed in this one because it's a like things like Xsense, Impro, those are actually Jovian corporations. So it's really hard, if not impossible, to gain standings with them. And most people won't have high standings with the Jova Directorate. And their refineries kind of sucked, so no one stuck around. Most people would be in like this Federal Freight. There'd be in the 50% stations in the area. Like the University of Calais, that's a pretty good one. You'll notice that the research stations, none of them have a really good refining rate in this area. I'm almost afraid to look at what this one is. It won't tell me. I'd have to throw an item in here. Do I have an item to refine? Nope. That's right. You get to see all my stuff. Here we go. Throw this in here. Oh, good God. That is awful. Okay, 30% base shield in this station. Now, normally it would be a 50% base in most stations, but as you see, there's not always a good corollary. Put that back in the grab bag. Put all of those in the grab bag. Stack. Yeah, this is the grab bag is obviously my generic put your crap here hanger. Put this in the miscellaneous BPCs. So you got a couple skill books, some modules, all the gag gifts we've gotten over the years, some of the skins I got from my faction frigates I had. I've got a rig. Bought too many rigs. I forgot that blockade runners only have 2 rig slots because they're Tech 2 ships. So yeah, that happened. So you want to find a good spot where you can set up, where you have good rates, and then you want to check to see if the station has offices available. I can tell you that that's interesting. It's not showing the bill. Check my notifications here. corporate. Yes, yes, let's join my corporation. Yes, people rejected my clone contracts because reasons. Now these are, it actually hasn't issued me a bill. That is unusual. It's a nice little bug. But an office in this station, because it has the services it has with the clone bay, these offices tend to go for quite a bit of money. I believe this one is 20 million ISK per month. And of course, the higher your the more people that are in have an office there, the longer they're there, that makes the rent go up. Judah 4.4, those offices go for over $1 billion ISK a month. But that should cover just about everything I wanted to cover in this one. Most of the profit, I will say, most of the profit in Tech 2, because it looks like a real, royal pain. In fact, all my court mates say, "Oh God, Tech 2, yeah," when they hear about how much work is involved. A lot of the profit in Tech 2 is in the vertical integration. It's in having all of the components, building all of the new composites, or building all of the components out of new composites instead of having them built for you. You get a little, so it's basically nickel and diming your way to profit. But that should do it for this episode. If you have any suggestions or specific things you would like covered, go ahead and drop me a line. I'm willing to do even things like wormhole Tech 3 invention, although I will have to go to the test server for that just because, well, I don't have any Tech 3 stuff and I don't feel like putting down a pause on Tranquility. But it can be arranged, so just comment down in the comment section below if that's what you'd like to see. I'm Original 99, and I'll see you next time.